Hello, hello. It is Michelle Nicole, the founder of M&E Marketing and Events. I am an event marketing strategist with a background of logistical event planning, project management in the marketing space. And here I am talking today the tools that I use not only for the events and the clients and the projects, but as an entrepreneur and how using a project management system such as Asana allows me not only to be more efficient, but also effective with my time, which in turn boosts my productivity. So at a high level, we are talking about project management. I'm using a tool called Asana. However, I have used other project management tools in the past, such as Basecamp. Rike is another one. I personally like Asana for what I use it for, but really you can take these concepts, apply it into your own world, because I don't think you do what I do as an event marketing strategist. And so understanding how you can take the concepts from this session, apply it into your own business as a small business, as an entrepreneur, as a marketing leader, as someone that uses project management, and how to become more efficient doing so. So the 5 takeaways that I use and why I use a project management system is to gather one location for really 5 key areas. One being my tasks, my daily, my weekly, my monthly tasks. Secondly, same place, same location for all my projects and my events that we're working on. Number 3, in the same framework is a place for collaboration. And this goes for clients, for my partners that are working on a similar project together. So collaboration, all in the same area, all in the same resource. Number 4 is my processes, my templates, my workflows, and having that same centralized location. This is all in one platform. And then 5 being just other business capabilities. So like I mentioned, having a place to dump all my ideas, my resources, to organize, to tag, all of these are happening in one resource. And so it's all in one location, but I can organize it how I need to. So those are the 5 takeaways, and I'm going to dive in deeper into this session, how I break those down, each of those 5 different segments. I'm going to refrain as best I can from making this an Asana demo video, but instead really showing the concepts, how I use it. That way you can really apply it as best you can into your day-to-day and into your field of expertise. So this is Asana, and really when I jump in here, I come to my tasks and how I choose to separate my day-to-day versus my weekly and my upcoming is right here in my tasks. Now you can customize this. Again, this is not really a how to use Asana, rather than how to optimize using project management. So what I do is I come into my tasks, and in a list view, I can see what's coming up, whether it's today, this week, and then I can easily shift as needed and give that overview of what's coming up. So that is my tasks. Now, what inbox does is my team members, and I use that word as in team could mean for a specific event, for a collaboration, whatever we are working on. This allows me to jump in here, and instead of using email as a ticketing system back and forth, because things get lost, and email is really meant for communication, not for project management. And so what happens is we can come in here, So after I go to my tasks, I can check out my inbox and see who has tagged me and notified me what is due. And so we can come in here, we can see that this is ready for review. I can make my notes, I can archive it, okay? And we can go through, we can make notes. So my tasks and my inbox are really the key components that I want to make sure that I'm up to date, that I'm not missing anything urgent. Just like an email box, just like messages, I always want to make sure that I'm double checking my tasks and my inbox. Now, come on down further. This is what we call teams in Asana. And really how I think of it is, how do I want to break out different projects that I'm working on? So being that you have your day-to-day, and then you have your projects, then you have collaboration, and then you have your process, and then you have other business capabilities. There's so many things that having this tool can do. What I want to do is break it down one by one, okay? So these are projects, and each one of them can have daily tasks, weekly tasks, or even monthly tasks. And so what happens is all of those projects combined are being pulled into my daily, my weekly, or my monthly. Whatever is being assigned or needs to be assigned, it doesn't matter which project is being pulled from. I can have an overview look. So that is how I can keep track of multiple projects, clients, teams, marketing campaigns, whatever is going on, regardless of where they fall in the projects and the clients. I can have that overall look. So when it comes to daily tasks, weekly, monthly, some people do prefer the list view. And then you can also set up these boards. So if we take a look, daily schedule, I like to use this kind of when I find myself getting a little off the rails of my routine. And then what I can do is literally come in here and create a daily schedule, just like I would in a journal. Something like this. I do like this one actually, because sometimes I do like having an actual journal for project management. Sometimes it just helps to write it down, but having it electronically also holds me accountable when I have people literally across the world working on projects or clients. So people across the world don't have access to the team tasks if it's in my journal, right? So you do have your board view or you have your list view. And so again, if you want some of the technicalities of how a project management system works, that's what some of these demos are for. But when it comes down to how to set it up for yourself, what I find is just trial and error. I've been doing this for quite some time, and sometimes I like the list view and sometimes I like the board view. So for instance, when I have all my tasks, I do like that they're in a list view. But when I'm working on a project, I find that for myself, I like them in a board view, because to me it's more visual to say, okay, is this item in an idea or a brainstorm status? Is it in my to-dos? Is it in progress? Is it completed? I always have resources, because if it's for a project, then I can really group all those resources under that same project. All right, let's dive in deeper on how to utilize the project management system to organize these projects and the tasks and the resources within the projects. So if we take a look over here, I have really the day-to-day stuff, my business as an entrepreneur. And again, we at a high level went through some of those. So let's actually take a look. For instance, I have been working on building out my process, how to create an event marketing strategy. And to do that, I really started with a lot of different ways to go about this. And so sometimes the brainstorming session, it's good to have it all in one spot. And that way, all my thoughts and my notes, this is the final product. Now, what's neat is I think that this format looks a lot nicer and easier to comprehend than this. Right? Yeah. So what happens is within each task becomes its own project. And here, I'll make myself even smaller. What you can do within each task, more notes, you can add resources, you can collaborate, even more resources. Every single one becomes its own. So now what is really neat is I have a process, a template that I can now duplicate, and every single time someone enrolls into this program, it becomes their own. And so because a template, a process, is the same information, but different than, let's say, Teachable or Kajabi, where it's a one-sided educational platform, I'm actually walking them through the process because, yes, my program goes through the same stages, but in events, every single event is different. Every single event campaign is going to be different, which means instead of me only giving the information as education, I need to interact with these clients. And so it allows me to take this template, become way more efficient, duplicate it at the time that they enroll, and then we have a two-way communication. Now, I have some of the stuff hidden just because, well, it's their projects. But you can see how instead of only giving the information out, it becomes a two-way platform so they can submit assignments. I can give feedback. I can bring team members in. Whatever it may be, it's all in one location, and I don't have to start over every single time. What I really love is when another company or client opts to use Asana, because what happens is I can be added into their workspace. So I'm not going to show any sort of crazy information. But for instance, this is an entire client, and what they're doing is they put their entire business into their own workspace, but I have access. Wow. So, for instance, my role is to help them specifically when they use events in their marketing. And you can see I'm not going to go into their projects, but they actually use it with their entire company and the different departments. But let's take a look at what we did. This was actually an event that we did last year. We're currently in the process of doing this year's event. And so you can see that we set up the full strategy, the to-do, the in progress, the revisions, in review, for approval, completed. Then what we also did, again, this was last year, and we had daily reports of what was being completed, Management could get on here. The whole team was able to be notified what was going on. And so we can easily see all the tasks that have been completed. And what this also does for us is allows us to go back to past years. Now, granted, I have a whole nother operations system for events, but when it comes to projects and repeat, you can duplicate it for this year. What I wanted to show you though is see how they chose with their team to put it into a list format. And so for instance, we have under marketing, you can just follow it this way and subtask under subtask under subtask. It becomes one location, but what happens is they all get funneled into this project, which makes everything amazing. When you're talking timelines, when you're talking multiple projects, when you're talking all these things. Now this was a year ago, so let's see if I go back a year. There we are. We can see the timeline of the project. Why don't we take a look at a project that I use within creating my own content and how I can delegate to different skill sets. I have different people that work alongside depending on, are they writing the content? Are they editing? Are they creating some of the design work? What does that look like as an entire marketing team? And so what happens is we may start out with ideas and we can brainstorm together on the different ideas that we're considering. Here's also the process. Any resources really that need to be hot and ready for upcoming content. We have what we're working on in the first draft. We have what needs to be reviewed, what's in editing, what's in design, what's in distribution, and then what's completed. Here's also a process as how I go about a certain segment that we do. And again, this is the process, and within each one, there are instructions. Project management has always been a part of what I do. It makes a lot of sense. Working events, event planner, who needs to be where and when, what needs to be where and how, it all falls under those logistics. The fun part is how can these be applied to other businesses? And even though the fundamentals are there, to actually execute it and customize it to the different businesses is where things get personalized. Whether you are a solopreneur, entrepreneur, a small business, or corporate America, working nationwide, internationally, project management in some sort of scope and fashion can be applied. And that is why creating these efficiencies, creating project management, it actually falls in one of my 6 foundations, logistics. And then within logistics, I have a whole module of how to create efficient event planning meetings and facilitate those meetings, and establishing these processes, establishing the efficiencies by creating and identifying that foundation, not just for events, but across a business. Large, small, doesn't really matter, is what is going to help optimize and boost that productivity altogether. So my specialty may be helping those companies with events and how event management, event marketing, and project management can help create and optimize event results. But really, if you can set out and identify how to set that as a foundation in your business overall and connect all the divisions, connect all the collaborations, and really create those processes, that together, you will start seeing results, you will be more efficient, and all the communication across the board, you will see huge productivity. When it comes to the other business capabilities of using a project management system, Asana, for instance, Rike is another one, Basecamp, whichever platform that you use that you're checking out, you're toying around with the different capabilities. Couple key things to look for would be integrations, customer service, and really the overall interface and user-friendly of onboarding, and really understanding where you're not necessarily going to break the system, but how easy is it to navigate and utilize it so that you can customize it for your own business. For instance, integrations, things like Zapier allow different applications out there, such as Google Docs or your email, to trigger and to upload, say, an email and now create that into a task that can then be assigned. Or you can actually export a project either into a printable PDF, into an Excel file, into a checklist. You can integrate it directly into a calendar. So if you're creating, let's say, a social media content calendar, you have a few people on the team, then you can actually export that with the right capabilities into a shared calendar. So things of that sort. I don't want to dive too deep into all the different business capabilities, being that there are different platforms and also tiers. So whether you get the free or the business package, whatever it may be, but those are some things to look for, because the integrations, the more that you can start to streamline your project management into the other areas, such as email, such as calendars, such as scheduling, things of that sort, the more you can start to automate, be productive, become efficient, and really use it to its greatest potential. All in all, if you choose to use a project management system in a division of your business or overall, productivity, efficiency, effectiveness, all of these play hand in hand, the results, once you have those systems and foundations laid out. So to recap, the 5 ways that I take a project management system and execute would be the tasks. Again, that's daily, weekly, and monthly. And you take that by first creating a priority list and then creating your task list. Secondly, using it to organize all the different projects, campaigns, and events. All of those are grouped together, but are pulled back into those daily, weekly, and monthly tasks. Number 3 is collaboration. I use Asana. It's my platform of choice. I've used other ones, and being able to communicate globally, whether it's with clients, with partners, vendors, all on the same project, giving them access to communicate, to add the files, to add statuses, to add where we are as a whole, without getting bombarded with email. Email is not meant to be a project management system. Things get lost, things get jumbled up, they get sent to the wrong people. All in all, having that collaboration platform all in one location where everything else already is really streamlines that process. It makes expectations and deadlines very clear for all people on deck. Number 4 would be the processes and templates. So creating those processes and those templates, but then having a place to create duplicatable systems very efficiently, all in one location. So even though the event and or campaign or project may be executed differently, the process and the template begins in the same spot. And so having those in that same area that can either be assigned to the same people, different people, whatever it may be, that is how I use my processes and templates. And number 5, overall business capabilities. And these are things that we talked about being integrations. So being able to take emails, forward it, and now it becomes a task that can then be assigned. Integrations that can then be sent to calendars or to schedulers, vice versa. Being able to print those out into other formats such as an Excel document, into a PDF that can then be printed into a document. Also using the upgraded versions may or may not be for you, your business, your projects, but there are other capabilities such as time trackers and accountability, things of these sorts that the project management system, all in all, together creates those processes, productivity, efficiency, and why it becomes a very critical part in creating those foundations. Otherwise, things may get dropped, they may not happen, but at least they are all in one location. So those 5 components really are the transferable ways that we can take a project management system to create a foundation of your tasks, your projects, collaboration, processes and templates, and other business capabilities, and customize it into your own space, whether that means that you are a small business or a corporation. And also if you're working campaigns, multiple divisions, or if it's just a piece or component or one campaign, one event. So utilizing those 5 areas as a base, as a foundation, and then how you customize it and personalize it is really how you are going to be able to apply that foundation, optimize it into your own business. Thank you so much for your time sitting through this video, taking away some of those components, apply it to your business. My name is Michelle Nicole, founder of M&E Marketing and Events, helping companies optimize event results beyond the logistics. When it comes to the other business capabilities of using a project management system, Asana, for instance, Rike is another one, Basecamp, whichever platform that you use that you're checking out, you're toying around with the different capabilities. A couple key things to look for would be integrations, customer service, and really the overall interface and user-friendly of onboarding, and really understanding where you're not necessarily going to break the system, but how easy is it to navigate and utilize it so that you can customize it for your own business. For instance, integrations, things like Zapier allow different applications out there such as Google Docs or your email to trigger and to upload, say, an email and now create that into a task that can then be assigned. Or you can actually export a project either into a printable PDF, into an Excel file, into a checklist. You can integrate it directly into a calendar. So if you're creating, let's say, a social media content calendar, you have a few people on the team, then you can actually export that with the right capabilities into a shared calendar. So things of that sort. I don't want to dive too deep into all the different business capabilities, being that there are different platforms and also tiers. So whether you get the free or the business package, whatever it may be, but those are some things to look for, because the integrations, the more that you can start to streamline your project management into the other areas such as email, such as calendars, such as scheduling, things of that sort, the more you can start to automate, be productive, become efficient, and really use it to its greatest potential.